the embers do glow, but oh, where is the warmth? The fire is there, but where is the with a little laugh and a smaller sigh, my beautiful young man, goodbye. So great, right? That's not even like the best song in the show. So great. How does this happen? Every time, though. Every time. So far you've heard some bright lights from some musicals that happen to not work on Broadway. But remember that sometimes the show just sucks. So you're like, what? How did you see this and say, I will give you money to make this show? Sometimes it's unbelievable. So we're going to call this section of the show the What Were They Thinking section. So we're going to start with Kelly, the original flop musical. One performance, closed on opening night. Yeah, very sad. It was the first show to ever close on opening night, and it was about a man who claimed he jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge and survived. Again, solid material. This is the Ode to the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, you great big bridge, connecting Brooklyn with New York. You don't squawk, you just do your job. And it's a hell of a job you do, connecting Mud Street with Myrtle Avenue. Oh, you mammoth suspension, linking the Bowery with Red Hook, permitting a free exchange of ideas and bringing civilization as we know it to both sides of the brook. You carry the burden alone, oh structure of steel and stone. You carry the burden alone. Oh, you big, big bastion, stretching across that watery ditch. You don't bitch, you just stick it out. And it's sticking out all over you, majestic Munstead, who don't say boo. Oh, the moxie that you have shown out there all alone. Oh, structure of steel and stone out there all alone. Oh, the moxie that you have shown. Big bridge connecting Brooklyn with New York. You don't squawk, you just do your job. And it's a hell of a job you do, connecting Lynbrook with York New. It really happened. there's only 6 shows in Broadway history that have closed in previews. And one of those is Rachael Lily Rosenbloom, and don't you ever forget it! Exclamation point. So, it was about a girl from Brooklyn who idolized Barbra Streisand. So this was following Hair, and a young actor named Paul Jabara decided he wanted to write Broadway's first disco musical. So he did Rachael Lily Rosenbloom, and don't you ever forget it! Exclamation point. And it was intentionally campy, but methinks they went too far. The chorus dancers, the men wore gold lame G-strings, and the women wore nipple tassels. So the dancers were so frustrated with the situation and just so annoyed by the show that they would get together and they would vent, and they started venting to their friend choreographer Michael Bennett. And they started recording these conversations about how tough it is to be in a chorus line. And 2 years later, they opened a chorus line on Broadway. So one of Broadway's biggest flops birthed one of Broadway's biggest hits. Isn't that crazy? So super crazy, true story. So Paul Jabara actually went on to write disco hits It's Raining Men and Last Dance, for which he won a Grammy and an Oscar. And he also worked with his idol Barbra Streisand on her Broadway album. So it all turned out really well for Paul Jabara. So, there was one quote. Frank Rich, in his review, said, Rachael Lily Rosenbloom made no sense on any level from beginning to end. So here's the opening number. 21 years old, looking for a place in the world, finding out the world is very cold. Lots of people I could write to, but there's only one I'd like to. So for now I'm sending this letter to you. Dear Miss Streisand, you are my favorite star. Dear Barbara, there's so much I want to know about you. Are you happy? Are you glad? Are you sorry? Are you sad? If it could have been different, how could it have been? Dear Miss Streisand, will you be my friend? Dear Barbara, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn, too. A kid from Brooklyn, too. Looking for a way to the top, finding pieces of the things I want. Not good looking, not pretty, kinda campy, sorta witty. Inside there's one thing I wanna know. Are you lonely? Are you blue? Does your conscience bother you? Was it worth it? Did you feel any pain? A kid from Brooklyn, too, looking for a way to the top, finding pieces of the things I want. Not good looking, not pretty, kinda campy, sorta witty. Inside there's one thing I wanna know. Are you lonely? Are you blue? Does your conscience bother you? Was it worth it? Did you feel any pain? But most of all you have, do you have a friend? Can you be my friend? on Babs? I mean, really? Does your conscience bother you? Does anyone know? Because I Googled it to try to figure it out. I don't know what dirt she has. The last song in our What Were They Thinking section. After Hair, Clive Barnes, New York Times reporter, reviewer, said that this was just the sound that Broadway needed, this new contemporary sound. So what followed was a string of flops with this new contemporary sound. And one of those was Dude the Musical. So Dude was written by Gull McDermott, the same guy who wrote Here. And I have another quote for you. Ken Mandelbaum, who's a theater historian, called it the least comprehensible show to ever be presented on a Broadway stage. I know you're leaving, dude. So long, dude. I think a change of scene is best for you, dude. I know you're leaving, dude. So long, dude. So long, dude. Yeah, dude. So long, dude. I never thought you could leave me, dude. And I never thought you could forget me, dude. Now how could you, dude? I know you're leaving, dude. So long, dude. So long, dude. So long, dude, dude, dude. I never thought you could leave me, dude. And I never thought you could forget me, dude. Now how could you, dude? I know you're leaving, dude. So long, dude. So long, dude. So long, dude, dude, dude. Great lyrics. So everybody knows Hairspray, right? Just saw that on TV. Fun. So after Hairspray was such a success on Broadway, they decided that they wanted to make John Waters' film Cry Baby into a musical as well. Not as well received. Rob Ashford did win a Tony, though, for his choreography, for a tap dance number in which the inmates danced with license plates on their feet instead of tap shoes. That's interesting. But John Waters really loved the show, and he said he really connected with this next song, and actually said he'd like it sung at his funeral. Let's take a note. Screw loose, that's what they say I've got. Or maybe they say I'm not playing with the full deck. But hey, what the heck can I do? Baby, I've got a screw loose for you. Bonkers, that's what they're calling me. Not metaphorically, they mean truly insane. But they can't hear the voice in my brain, giving orders to keep loving you. Erratic, eccentric, toys in the belfry, and bats in my attic. But I just don't see the harm in carving your name in my arm. Meow, meow. Darling, it's so hard to be 16 and schizo, but I know it's worth the cost. I've made up my mind, which I have lost. Screws, clinically certified. A panel of doctors tried to lock me away, but until that day when they finally do, I'll be here if you need a loose screw.
I have laughed so much tonight. I appreciate you all laughing, but the laughter is really only beginning. We're going to now turn it back over to the lady of the evening, Miss Shelley Kenneavy.
I was sitting on a sand dune in Santa Cruz or Monterey. Well, anyway, I could feel the trickle on my cheek of ocean spray. The perfect day. Well, anyway, I remember that I turned to Sam and said, or was it Fred? Well, anyway, I should be up, and yet I'm down instead. Something's missing, Sam. Something's missing, Fred.